The S&P 500 and the Nasdaq 100, that's what we're discussing here on the day. Now, what we can see is we broke below 2021 highs here on the daily level. We had a lot of retest into that zone right there, and then ultimately pushing back to the downside on the Nasdaq in particular. Go to the weekly just so you can see that 2021 high. As you can see there, we zoom back in, and that's where we're at. Now, let's talk a little bit about this level before we go too far, because this level is pretty key. It was a level that we kind of got stuck at for basically, from January 20th all the way, essentially until at least the 7th, but really didn't get a big breakout until the end of February, in which you ended up running, 700 points from that level locally, 750 give or take. That's that big run. Now we're getting back below that. So what's the significance? Why is this important? It's a pretty massive level overall. Now we can also see from that viewpoint, people saying, Tyler, well, aren't you getting bearish, this and that? It's like, look, we break our key levels and I will get as bearish as the next guy. And ultimately, that's what took place and what happened here, right? What we were looking for, the flag back into our rejection, boom, back down. Qs gave a pretty good example of this as well. That key level 432.7, you came back into it, rejected back down. It was all really there for us. There was nothing really else that we had to really watch. It's just those key levels we mentioned yesterday as well. If you're also not following on Twitter, I recommend doing so. I had this all posted for you so you knew. Again, a 200+ point drop from that level we mentioned on Twitter. It's all there for you. I try to give a lot of free content out for you guys as well, so just make sure you're taking advantage of that. So again, that's what we're looking at here. Now, the expectation now is, Tyler, where's next? Where's the next level? So let's start attacking some of these levels here on Qs, and then ultimately into Nasdaq as well. So Qs are a little bit interesting here. You're gonna have a little bit of a level, and what I would do is I'd mark out this level here all the way into these lows right there. After that, you're gonna have a range around 417, 418 locally, but I'd be, and that's where you bounce today, right there as well. So again, this is your next little level there, and then all the way as well going back down to previous highs there. So you're gonna have a few levels. So what I'd be watching for, you break below 425, 424.7 and hold. Be looking for a push down to 417, then 412.5. Those are my levels on the board there. Going to the S&P, we didn't even, the S&P looked much worse. So you go to the S&P, you did not even get a bounce. You did not hit our level. You held below 504 locally, then pushed down. We're looking for the gap filling the S&P down to 497.5. So that's my level there. Really easy to see. Okay, back into Nasdaq, looking here in Q specifically. We zoom back in. Things are interesting here, and I don't want to call out certain things just yet because I don't want people to be like, well, Tyler, we're going to drop 800 points. That's not what I'm saying. But you start opening the door and getting below some of these key levels, and I think the possibilities get there, right? So a few things. You are going to have this massive level down here, which I don't want to say we're going to come down to that yet, 16.7. But an area that's the main point here, if we start really breaking below 17.45, which is my next big level right there, that's going to give us a really good viewpoint going forward, because we break, you're looking for the retest and continuation back down. Actually, let's pull that levels up as well there. Yeah, you can see that we're bouncing right there, that demand zone from Lux Algo right to the tick. Awesome. So if we get that breakdown, that's what you're looking for. And if that happens, I think you got to be looking for the 200 SMA right there. Okay, that's your 200 daily moving average. That's just the daily moving average. So that's what you got to be looking for. You can also see here as well that this low coincides with this level here as well. So I don't think it's going to be an easy drop. If you do get an easy drop of this level, it's concerning. So again, you can see previous high, previous low right there. So again, a lot of support is going to be there. Expect a lot of support. Okay, so that's what we're looking at. I think just, today was a good sell side. You came to that level. We talked all about it. It was all posted for you. So awesome. Now, ES and as well going into this, Dow's really weak, so don't need to discuss that either. And yeah, you can see ES is coming down into the demand level down here as well. We kind of consolidate down here, so you're hitting that level already. If you get below this level, that's where things get concerning. Okay, if we start breaking these levels, then it's like, what's next? Because you start to get into some illiquid areas once again. We start breaking below basically, 50.20 here on ES, you're falling most likely down to 50.60 or 49.60, 49.50 at minimum, and maybe coming into previous highs on here for 49.04. Roughly. Okay, so those are the big things that I'm watching here. Dow, I really don't care too much about the Dow right now, not gonna lie to you. Been choppier, been slower, but yeah, you're at support as well. You can see everything's at support. If Dow loses this level as well, you have room down to, you're gonna hit instantly, you'll drop 200 400 points quick to 37.43 locally, and then down to 37 flat. So that's what we're looking at there. Okay, now again, wiping that off. Now, also too, guys, if you want to check out the indicators here on our screen, what we're using, everything like that, you have our volume indicator as well, our custom volume indicator down here. The link is down below for Lux Algo, and use code OD40 for 40% off, just to let you know. And then really quick, let's go into what's happening with data. Okay, data. Yeah, your beige book today, and that's pretty much kind of all that's really coming out this week. It's a lot of Fed speakers, and then your beige book, which is basically more of the Fed. The beige book basically shows economic growth looks good, and then the Fed kind of turned their viewpoint to they expect the economy to continue to grow, yada, yada, yada. That's the viewpoint there. More concerns regarding inflation. That's the other concerning part. You also saw some more Israel things escalate, which that probably will happen sooner than later as well. But those are things that I'm watching broad market. It's worth mentioning tomorrow as well, we have Netflix earnings after hours, and then pre-market you have some big earnings on TSM. Worth mentioning, could greatly impact semiconductors, broad markets there as well. So make sure you understand that. Also too, guys, I want to give a shout out to Mumu, the sponsor of this channel, sponsor of this video. It's where I do all my trading, options, stocks, etc. I'm gonna have more stuff coming out with them. I just have to be careful what I post in the beginning until our relationship is established, because it has to be compliant. And there's just a lot of rules with the platform right now, because they just don't want to get in trouble, and I don't want to get in trouble. So anyways, check them out. Link is down below. It helps me out, helps you out if you want to support the channel. Again, a lot of customer service stuff, and we're in talks of getting some more personal stuff as well with them. But yeah, that'll be coming sooner than later. But yeah, let's jump back in. So few things. Earnings tomorrow. Okay, before you ask, Tyler, should I trade Netflix earnings? Okay, let me just give you a quick little viewpoint. For everyone that's saying, should I trade earnings? Should I do this? Should I do that? My answer is typically no. I'm never going to touch earnings. I have no desire. Don't care. I just don't care. Not worth it for me. But if we look at the data, real quick, where's the earnings data? Earnings performance. Go to earnings performance over the past year. We're going to look at the 2 days. Okay, 3 days, sorry. So 3 days before earnings and then after. As you can see most movement on Netflix after their earnings. The best overall trend. The rest is trash. So it's really worth your time to just wait until after the earnings actually print and then trade the overall direction, whether it be up or down, right? So things to consider. 10 days, it gets even better. Go to the 3-year chart. Besides this past year, both sides. Okay, again, clearly the best movement comes after Netflix earnings. So keep that in the back of your mind. But really quickly, let's do a recap of some of the stuff we talked about yesterday and how I applied them to the market today. So yesterday I mentioned Meta, for instance, one of the weaker names. This is Q's as well. The flag called this out yesterday, ended up breaking down, obviously. And then Meta getting below 504, rejected 1, 2, like 5 times and pushed down. Now I'm waiting for it to break lows in the day today and then ultimately drop. And then as you can see, Meta went down tremendously. And then we had a few more trades, but primarily just sticking to what we already have been trading. ARM was another weak one, but I try to stick to my plan, guys. I try not to stray away or take too many trades or get crazy, because there's no real reason for me there, right? If I have an overall plan of the names I think are weak, names I think are strong, then those are the names I typically focus and trade the most, and if not always. So something to consider and to be looking at. Again, like I trade everything that I mentioned in these YouTube videos. It's not like a big surprise or a secret. It's just how I apply those throughout as well. So anyways, let's go over some equities. We'll get you in, get you out of here as quick as possible. No diddy. And Nvidia. So number one, as you look at Nvidia, again, to get bullish, got to be above at least 896. Until then, you look weak. I think you're probably going to fill the gap down to 823 tomorrow. Again, you have TSM earnings, so it's probably going to impact you immediately. But what I'd be looking for is a break, potentially a retest of 842, 841, and then down to 823, 824. I think TSM's earnings are always lackluster, personally. Their last earnings call was decent, but typically not the best. AMD, we talked about this one yesterday as well. I did not trade AMD, though, but it was a really good setup. You ended up breaking down below, previous lows. You got down and then just sold off immediately. This thing has downside room to 151. This could hit in a matter of like a day. So that really could come tomorrow. Down $10 on the day. Pretty gruesome, 6% day to the downside. So really weak. Coinbase as well. Coinbase getting a dip on what's happening with Bitcoin. Also, to get back above 224, be really cautious. Under 208, this thing could start falling quick. Keep it on your radar. Amazon has earnings next week. Amazon's one of the names that I like as a buy during this dip. Very few names I think that are like, hey, I want to buy this name while the market's really risky. I'm not buying yet because their earnings are not this coming week, but the week after. But I love what they've been doing. Their earnings are fantastic. They are growing. Their prime base is growing rapidly. So they're kind of everything you love. Not going to lie. So Amazon going into earnings, they probably do really well. Like them a lot. Okay. Microsoft. And I'm not going to mention as many of these other volatile names like Microsoft and Meta. Like I think they'll still beat, but it's just like I don't want to. There's a lot of risk there. Microsoft got back below 415, eventually broke 412. Under 412, this thing can start dropping down to 404, 402 with ease. So watch this close into tomorrow, guys. Watch it very close. You're actually grinding at that level, rejecting, pushing down. So if sellers continue, downside likely there as well. Apple, I can't go short on Apple here personally. I just can't do it. As a day trade, the short side makes sense, like down to like 166, 165.8. Okay. As a stock, I think it's fantastic. I was saying it down here, like 168, 169, and you ran up to like 178, which was incredible. I didn't see that coming instantly, but I think they're gonna figure it out. Stock wise, like it's like buying it up on Apple it's never really gone wrong. So, anyways, Google. One of the other names with Amazon that is performing. However, they're tech related and their earnings have been pretty garbage. However, their new features on Google using AI have been pretty cool and they've been working seamlessly. So it's been like their first quarter of no tragedy as far as earnings, like and having bad news with their AI, even though they're supposed to be the leader in AI. So that's good. Keep it on a swivel. Your head on a swivel. ARM, probably my last thing I'm going to mention here today, guys. Dear God, the second you broke below, 116, 115, yeah, it was scary. You're illiquid on ARM, and I love this as a long-term name, and I think it's going to be a buy on the dip, but you are illiquid down to like $80. So this is scary, concerning. Double knot your underwear, right? Yeah, underwear have shoelaces now. Double knot them, boys, because this thing is terrifying. Not gonna lie. But that's what I'm watching. That's what I'm looking at. If you have questions, comment down below. See you guys tomorrow. Have a video out tomorrow as well. I appreciate all the support. Have a good one.